Hi, Mike here. Welcome to this video of my new BMW R9T. This is just a first impression video. I'm just out for a ride. I've just left the village of Hawes in the Yorkshire Dales. So I just wanted to, I got the bike 2 days ago. I haven't had a chance to ride it properly. So I thought I'd come out and get my first impressions of my new bike. So what can I say straight away? Well, first of all, it's a completely different riding position than the GS. It's a lot more compact. The seat seems comfortable. The ergonomics are quite familiar, the switchgear and how the rider interfaces with the controls. This being a 2023 bike, it comes with rider modes. It has a rain mode, road mode and a dirt mode. Not sure you'd want to do any serious dirt on this bike, but there you go. That remains to be seen. It has the ABS Pro and it also has traction control, which is controlled by an IMU. I think it's a 6-axis IMU on this bike, so lean sensitive. No quick shifter, so all the gear changes are with the aid of a clutch. Very old school. Familiar type of engine noise with the Boxer engine, although this one being the older air-cooled, oil-cooled engine. There's no liquid cooling on this engine. Still, it's got a really nice amount of mid-range grunt and torque. Nice sound. Slightly more vibey than the LC motor in my old 1250 GS. That motor obviously a little bit more refined. But yeah, up to now I'm very impressed with how this bike handles and feels. It isn't the big Bavarian touring bike that I'm used to, but that's part of the reason I bought this bike. I wanted something a little bit lighter. It's not significantly lighter, but a little bit lighter. Something a little bit more compact. And something just for getting out and having a bit of fun on. Not planning on doing any big trips this year. So I wanted something I could just get out and go out and have a few hours and have a play on here in the Yorkshire Dales where I live. Just enjoy the experience of riding a more naked, upright motorcycle. Yeah, the brakes are really good. Very, very good stopping power from the Brembos on the front of this. The one thing I have noticed, I mean, the quality of our roads here in the UK are absolutely shocking. No doubt about it. The potholes and general condition of the roads is terrible. And the suspension on this is, from what I can feel up to now, it isn't anywhere near as plush as what I had on the GS. But then the suspension travel on this is a lot shorter. I think it's 120mm on the front and 140mm on the back, and the shock on the back is not apparently the best in the business. But most people who buy these bikes and keep them, they do, as one of the mods they do is they change out the shock absorber, and I dare say in time that's probably what I will do. I've already bottomed it out a couple of times on potholes. I don't believe there's much adjustments in that rear shock either. I think you can adjust it for preload. But overall, I'm impressed. I think it's a great platform for what I want out of a bike and for the sort of modifications I want to do and the type of riding I want to do this year. I think it's going to be an ideal bike for that. A couple of things that I'm missing. I'm missing the gear change. Or should I say the gear indicator, so you know what gear you're in. A couple of times I've gone to change gear and I've realised I'm already in 6th. Kind of, you get used to having all of those items displayed on your screen, on your TFT, this being an analog with a little digital display. It doesn't have all that information, although I think if you upgrade the display to twin gauges, you can get a second gauge on this. It was an option. You get all that additional information on the second gauge, the rev counter and all of the additional information you're missing off this one, such as the gear you're in. So that's an upgrade I'm definitely looking at doing in the future. But most of the modifications I'll do to this will probably just make the bike a little bit more comfortable. So I'm probably going to fit a small screen. Like I say, the rev counter is something I'm going to look at, and that's it really. I mean, maybe a luggage rack at some point, because I'm going to use this as my bike for shorter trips. Be able to put a bag on the back if I want to have an overnighter somewhere. Maybe throw my tent on the back. But like I say, no big trips, so I'm not planning on putting all of the adventure touring gear on it. I've got the tank bag, I've got to fit the tank bag to it. So on my ride over towards from Ingleton, I had the fuel warning light come on, and it's just basically, it just comes on, flashes, lets you know that your flows of fuel's getting low, and then it tells you how far you've gone on the reserve. So I need to read the owner's manual and check what the reserve is. I've got a feeling it's around 40 miles. BMW, generally, they're pretty good. When they say 40 miles, it's probably a little bit more than 40 miles. I know with the GS, I run that down to 0 on a number of occasions and never run out. So I think they tend to be quite conservative, the Germans, when they do their fuel consumption calculations and tell you how much fuel you've got remaining or how far you can get on the remaining fuel. No fuel display, no fuel range to display on this. But it's old school. You know, it's how bikes used to be when I first passed my test, got my first proper bike. It was a bike that didn't have any of the electronics. You had a reserve tap, When you felt the bike spluttering and running out of fuel, you flicked it over onto the reserve, and that got you to your fuel stop. I remember doing that once and forgetting to flick it back. Never did that again. Yeah, had to push the bike. Yeah, so we got used to all of these conveniences, and I hear people complain when bikes don't have them. But for me, the idea of owning a motorcycle is somewhat to take you back to a basic mode of transport. This does have heated grips, cruise control. Like I said, it's got the rider modes, ABS. ABS is switchable. So yeah, overall I'm very impressed with how this bike is, and I'm looking forward to making more videos. I haven't given the bike a name yet. As everyone knows, my previous BMW GS was called Heidi. Good German name. Kind of think of this bike more as a female East German shot putter. Maybe she's an Elga or a Gretel. I don't know. I have to think about that one. But she's deceptively big. When I saw her, thought it's a very compact looking bike, but when you sit on it, she's actually quite big. Nowhere near as big as the GS, obviously. When you look at bikes, a lot of modern bikes now, they've got a lot smaller. You know, the 600s look like 250s, you know, the 1000cc bikes look like the old 600s. You know, everything's getting smaller and lighter. People have demanded shorter wheelbase and more compact bikes, more steeper head angles, so the faster steering. Well, this is great. Feel the elements, feel the wind blast. Yeah, so none of the protection, none of the weather protection I'm used to on the GS. Yeah, definitely feel the bumps along here with this suspension. So I'm going to definitely be looking at upgrading the suspension as a matter of priority. So a lot of people probably wonder why I got this and not the latest version, which is the 1200, the R12G/S. Short answer is cost. This was a good chunk of money cheaper. 3,000 miles on the clock, 2023. Essentially the same drivetrain as what's in the R12GS, without the long travel suspension. And I think this can be made to be as good a bike as the R12G/S, but for a significantly less money. And do you need all that suspension travel on a bike that isn't going to be spending all of its life off-road? I did take an R12G/S out on a test ride and I liked it, but when you put the options on it and put all the stuff on it you think you're going to want, that bike's up to about £16,000. This I got for 9,000. Even if I spend a couple of grand on it getting it exactly where I want it, it still comes in significantly less than a brand new one. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. That looks like we're coming into a bit of rubbish weather. Again, not the ideal bike for riding in these conditions, but I'm not a fair weather biker and I've got a nice waterproof jacket on, so I should be okay. heading to Devil's Bridge from Hawes now, so I'll stop off and have a coffee soon. It's hard to tell how that exhaust sounds because I've got earplugs in. It doesn't sound too obtrusive, too loud. It is the Aquapulvich, and it's the high exhaust on this particular bike. They do a low mounted exhaust and they do a high mounted exhaust. This one's the high mounted exhaust. Looks like two trumpets. I actually like it. Like the look of it. I think another thing I want to fit on this is going to be hand guards. The old bark busters. Take some of that wind chill off the hands on colder days like today. It is actually quite cold today. This is the back end of March, last weekend in March, Easter next week. And the weather up here is still quite cold. I need to fit the cable for my heated jacket, my Case electric jacket, and I've got the heated gloves as well, but I haven't fitted the cable yet. I'm not even sure where the battery is on this yet. I don't think it's under the seat. I've got a feeling it's under the tank. So it might be, I don't know how easy it is to get at the battery to fit the cable. Fortunately, with the GPS, BMW have had the foresight to put an accessory plug, which is the same accessory plug as on the GS that I had, so it's just simple plug and play. I'd like a better GPS mount than the one I'm using right now. Does the job, but I'd prefer it to be above the speedo, so it's in my line of sight. I don't have to glance down to look at it. It's lovely when the sun breaks out. I dare say this bike being completely open and naked, the water and dirt off the road gets flung everywhere, so I'll probably want to clean up when I get back. Let's give a blast off. We've had a lot of heavy rain here, so I think most of the salt has gone off the roads now. Right, I'm going to sign off for now. So yeah, I'll speak to you again very shortly.